I'll reach over and even put on my hat so I don't blind everybody. And we are live with Dave at the moment. We got
What up?
Mrs. MikeO. You're always running late. I guess he's got to do his hair and makeup before he gets on. I got the baseball draft pinned up. We might chat about that, but I'm just kind of interested for the Virginia players. Me and Dave were talking about that. The only interesting one so far that I know is Kumar Rocker. Elijah Green, I've heard some words about him. So we're talking about his size. He's 6'3", 225 as a senior in high school outfielder. He's a big boy. Kumar Rocker going to the Rangers. If you've heard that name, and the Mets drafted him in the first round last year, didn't sign him. So there we have it. We're down to the eighth pick, which is the Twins. The Twins are on the clock.
We got 4 more to the Mets.
Yeah,
well, Mets almost pick. They make 11 and 14.
Yeah, they got compensatory draft picks too at the end of the first, I think, and second, if I remember correctly, because they gave Hey Don, what's going on, buddy? Talked to Don a little bit yesterday. We're trying to line up trip and getting together with everybody. If you don't know what we're talking about, to the national. And we'll wait till Mike gets on. We'll do some national talk later. I was showing Dave because Dave likes to get the 5-star, and he had a great year last year at the national, which we'll go over. First time I'm meeting him, and this dude's picked up that Ted Williams autograph.
Yeah, I'll go get it real quick.
Whereas, yeah, that was just a beautiful card. Might have won the show for our group, I think, that was hanging out together. Hey, James, yeah, go Yankees. I guess somebody's got to like them. They're doing okay, I guess. Have they clinched the division yet? It's All-Star break. They should have clinched it by now.
Well, they're only up 14.
A guy I work with is, hey, Andy, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, when you showed me, I got chills now. When you showed me that, and just knowing that was Ted Williams' autograph last year, that was just awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I paid for it, too. It's not even $185.
Yeah, that's what you said. You said you pretty much stole it. Pafalzi saying that 2 of the players are I would say Elijah Green. His dad's probably one. Who's the other one? Drew Jones? Is that Andrew Jones?
Andrew Jones' son.
Okay. He's 6'4", 180, so he's got he's got a lot of room to tomorrow. He's got a lot of room to grow there on that one. A Cal Poly kid finally goes. I don't know what took him so long. That's one of the high school powerhouses. No, that's a Cal Poly State. I'm sorry. I was thinking of that private school right there in California. 4-year junior, 6'2", 205. Shortstop going to the Twins. Evening, Paul. How you doing, buddy? So we'll just dabble. First off, before I get it too far into this, I had this on my mind since yesterday. So I went to my card shop. I haven't been in a while. I ran out of stuff to open, so I started getting twitches and stuff. So I had to go to the card shop, and I picked up the 70th anniversary box. For well less than what I got it, so I'm glad he's not on here. And then I got a box of Hockey Series 2. But what I want to speak about, there was Jackson Holiday. Oh, Jackson Holiday's Matt. If I would have saw that, I would have, okay. That's Matt Holiday's son, and he went first as a shortstop. That's crazy. Matt Holiday has a son the way Matt's built, and his son is a shortstop. Okay. But there was 2 young kids. I bet you the youngest was probably 10ish, and the oldest was probably maybe 12. And they were just yeah, I know how that goes, Paul. So they were just right there in the glass of the baseball. The little boy, which I haven't seen, I thought I'll walk back in time, Dave. He had the Beckett book out, looking at prices, looking up the players, trying to figure out, which year. They were so excited to see a Mattingly 84. Johnny Bench trying to figure out, what year it was, and I told him, it was a 70. It was just, man, it was just awesome. And they were just, every card they saw, they were just getting more and more excited. It didn't matter if it was a Guerrero. They knew who Mattingly was. So their dad was back in going on, never had that card. So it was just exciting to see that. And I got my boxes and gave me a little chuckle. Made me feel good. I don't know why, but it was just awesome to see that. Most kids, they didn't have a Pelican case and didn't have $1,000 cards. But, they were in there just enjoying the shop the way I used to enjoy going to the card shop at that age. So it was a little refreshing to see. And they're not looking at what's the most expensive basketball, $5,000 basketball card that's in the case of some guy that just started last year. Mrs. Bobbles. Hey, guys, Mrs. Bobbles. Watching Rush with Little Bobbles, but wanted to hop on and say 10 days. Yes, 10 days. And when you say Rush, you mean the band? Saw them in concert a long time ago. Dr. Exclusive, what's up, buddy? With Soto turning down that huge extension, do you guys think the Mets will sign him if he hits a free agency? I think the Mets, if they're smart, the Mets have some trading pieces in the minor leagues that they could try to probably get him now, and it's easier to sign him to an extension once you already have him.
It'll be a little hard with the Mets being in the same division, so Nationals may not want to do that. I hope they do.
But you
gotta be able to sign them though, like from the trade.
Yeah, they'll probably wait till the off season and do an extension, or that owner the way he winding down Lindor, but that was still in the off season. But right now, the Mets, I couldn't imagine. Oh, I can't imagine. I imagined it at the beginning of the season. Them trading, and they got a couple of young players, and plus they could throw in an MLB ready player to take his spot this year. That's what they usually do. They'll get one kind of high prospect, one mediocre prospect, and an MLB guy that can play the outfield now, ready now. And they have all of that. I mean, when you have to send down Dominic Smith because you don't have any other spots left, and you're just trying to figure out what guy has options left to go to the minors, Dominic Smith on a lot of teams would be an everyday player.
They probably need to trade him. I don't know. He don't do nothing for me, so he can go.
Oh, you don't like him?
He's done nothing. We've tried it long enough for him to be who he's supposed to be. He hasn't really.
I just don't think he gets to play. He don't get to play every day. Yeah. Steve Staven Sports Card says it's going to be in LA or New York, and that's the case because that's where he wants to play. I mean, I'm sure other teams could afford him because he didn't take that contract. It's not so much of the money, I don't think, or the years. I think the problem is he wants to be the guy on a contending team every year. And you cannot look at the Nationals right now and say, when will they be a contender?
Yeah. When is Stanton's contract up with the Yankees? Is it one more year or is he done after this year?
No, I think he's got years left because that was a long contract he's got.
12 years.
The Marlins.
Yeah.
So I don't know how if somebody in the chat can look that up, that would be awesome. I could look it up, but I'm lazy right now. Because I know Stanton has a long-term contract, and they're gonna have to sign Judge. So
yeah, they can't let him go. He's too big in New York.
yeah, so that kind of rules out the Yankees on Soto.
Maybe.
I heard it here first, Soto to the Pirates.
I'm more concerned about Ed. If Soto goes to the Mets,
yeah, he might.
He won't be able to root for him.
I hope he lives on the first floor of whatever building he's in. Could you imagine Soto on the Dodgers? The Dodgers, Mets. I can't. Soto on the Mets, and this is the point I was going to make, so I'm going to not look at the chat for a second. Soto on the Mets just extends an already really good lineup. So what do you do at that point? So you run a batting third, right? Lindor, will he go to second happily, bat second happily with Soto there? Maybe you batting fourth and put Alonso fifth.
Bat him second.
Huh? Bat him second? I wouldn't mind. I mean, who do you pitch around? I mean, then you just extend that lineup. I mean, they could trade JD Davis. They got trade chips. They really do. And to have the options they have for Soto, and if a lot of people popping in, we're talking about Soto maybe going to Mets. I don't know what the Dodgers have in their farm system as trading chips. I know they're always really good in their farm system, especially international. So then, they made that Ruiz trade with the Nationals last year because they got Will Smith. Yeah, Don, but those four teams legitimately on paper look like they got the best four teams. But man, you don't see it when it comes to the playoffs. I mean, and right now, it's going to happen. The Yankees are running away with it, but when it gets to the playoffs and they got to face the number 1 and 2 pitcher every game, you're going to see a lot of strikeouts from them, a different team. And then they have to play defense. Here's a good one. Mets trade Bobby Bonilla contract to the Nationals for Juan Soto. That would be, they're not really paying out all that much every year.
Well, if the Mets had to pay Juan Soto, it might become Juan Soto Day in about 40 years.
No doubt. Yeah, because he'll get hurt or something or not be the guy. I don't know. I would love to see him with the Mets because I love Pete Alonso, and they gave Pete Alonso a 4-year extension or a contract on his one he's got now.
Maybe, I don't know.
I know they gave him something. He's got a bigger contract now, but they're gonna have to sign him. Or they'll have a riot there at City Stadium.
Oh, if they don't sign Alonso?
Yeah. I mean, he's such a crowd favorite. He has fun. He's the polar bear. I mean, almost the teddy bear.
I'd just be mad that another PC player is gone, and I got to have a whole bunch of his cars that wait for the Mets for more than a couple of years.
Well, because of I'll tell you this, because of the Syndergaard trade, Syndergaard, not trade, free agently, and went to the Angels. I kind of stopped. I pick up the Mets team set for the Topps base cards, the flagship. But everything else, I just basically get Pete Alonso, and I'll pick up some numbered cards maybe here and there if I like them. But I kind of stopped getting Mets cards because of that. You're dead on. I think I'll be liking Pete Alonso even if he goes to all but 2 teams or 3 teams in baseball. If he went to the Phillies, Yankees, or Dodgers, he would be dead to me. But other than that, I could probably root for him. It wouldn't kill me to see him do well. Please, you know what? I hope he didn't, because that makes him enduring. That makes him that's what makes Pete Pete.
Dude, he can hit the long ball and then do some crappy dance, and it's all good. He can pull that off.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Hey, look, everybody, shh, be quiet. Mike's in the green room. We're going to make him sit there for a little bit. Yeah, good point, Don. Hey, it's Mike.
Yeah, I don't know how I always put myself in these bad situations. Like,
I told
I got
everybody
these two guys with blue shirts on, Mets hats. Like, I'm not even prepared.
I told everybody you had to get
Well,
your
work
hair
for you.
done before you came on, so you're good while you're a little late.
Well, I mean, I would have been another 2 minutes late and grabbed a Phillies hat, I mean, I knew going in I was outnumbered, but
Yeah, see here, Don, this is if the Pirates owner doesn't want to win, sell the team, plus they make bad trades as well. I don't know if they make bad trades. Here lately, a couple of the trades didn't work their way.
well, that Chris Archer trade
Chris
qualifies
Archer,
as a bit of a bad trade.
Yeah, that's the one that was in my brain. But they just can't afford to give the big paycheck contracts. So what do? They're not, those players are trading is not going to take a mediocre contract. So you try to do homegrown and go. It's such a difference between the first 4-year contract and if the player does well, that leap to their veteran contract is kind of, there's not this middle ground for a lot of these players. I mean, there is a middle ground, but I don't know because Pirates get the pick so high, their homegrown talent is so good.
Yeah, they just need to start a win with it.
Yeah, win early.
I mean, because like the A's always seem to make the playoffs, and they don't have anybody big ever. How come the Pirates can't grow them up and at least get to the playoffs every couple of years or something?
Yeah, and the A's just do good of building depth, I think, and working the system in their favor where they just have really good drafts and they work. I think they're hurting this year, though, so and their farm system's not all that great.
Well, a sad fact exists that both the Athletics and the Pittsburgh Pirates have made the postseason more recently than the Philadelphia Phillies. So there's that. The Pirates don't have the longest drought in Pennsylvania.
Well, I wasn't going to say nothing, nor was I trying to think of it. Oh, this in. Kevin Pereira, Georgia Tech catcher, 6'1", 197 pounds to the New York Mets.
You going to invest in his first Bowman next year?
That's what we're saying. I'm watching this, so I'll be ready for the Bowman draft later this year coming out.
So I wonder if that means they're drafting a catcher that's apparently ready to go or a top catcher in the draft. I mean, maybe they're Alvarez for Soto.
I don't know. They got what's that other catcher down there? Because Alvarez was supposed to be up before the end of the year. I think they want to get rid of Nito because they got what's his face for 2 more years.
I'm still rooting for Juan Soto to end up with the Houston Astros. That will destroy Ed Weskergriff. It will spiral him out of control. But
does he live on the first floor wherever he lives? Is it just the first floor? It's not up.
But Juan Soto saved baseball. Ed was anti-Houston. Can you imagine if he ends up in Houston?
Right.
Well, what about
lower taxes?
Soto to the Mets or Soto to the Astros to Ed?
Probably. Well, Ed seems to always root for those NL East teams in the World Series, so I'm pretty sure he'll be jumping on that Mets bandwagon with you guys at some point. So probably the Astros probably kill him more.
You too, Mike. Come on.
Well, don't bet on it.
Oh man! All right, so I was gonna jump in. We already had Dave show off his Ted Williams that we talked about last year. I told him a little story, man. I'm gonna say it again because I'm so happy about it. Went to my local card shop and I want to tell you this. Picked up a hobby box of the 70 anniversary platinum. So look, just pennies, a little. Had to pay the little bit of what is it, the card shop tax over what Topps sells it for.
I'm sure it was well below those pre-sales from early last year. So
I got it so much cheaper than what you paid for it. But these two little kids, they were just having such a good time looking at all the cards in the glass. And the one little kid who's probably like 10 had a Beckett in his lap, squatting on the floor, looking at the card prices. Look at that. That's awesome right there.
I used to have like boxes full of Beckett's from when I was a kid. And then at some point, like, I forget it. I think I like sold them at a garage sale or a flea market, like, you know, God knows how long ago, 15 years ago. And it's like, I regret, because it'd be so fun to just flip through and see Tom Brady rookies for $2. And then, you know, some guy who never made it that you forgot about was $20. It's now, you know, a penny, the articles, pictures, all that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, if Mike, this baseball card life hears you saying that, he's probably got a tear, just one little solo tear running down his cheek. I think he's got them all. The way he was telling me. I wonder how much longer they're gonna like put out a price guide or a quarterly one. I could understand, but I don't know about a monthly one. I sometimes at the store they'll have just the Beckett collector's magazine or whatever. I'll flip through that just to.
How much is a Beckett now? It's got to be like $6-7, right? Like, just
I don't even,
because subscription's got to be so low. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting. That's like a little side PC thing you could do as a team collector. You know, go back and pick up some old ones featuring Mets on the cover or Phillies or whatever. I'm sure, you know, over the years there've been a few that, you know, that would be kind of cool.
Well, I guarantee you it'll be at least 4 or 5 booths so that when we go to the show we'll have Beckett's sitting in there for sale. So, the next thing, Mike, you touched on it. You've been getting a lot of PSA stuff back here lately. My goodness.
Yeah, someone's been watching the channel. That must be why I get text messages from you and many others asking about the Juan Moncada, you know, PC, Rainbow, investment portfolio.
Well, I was just wondering how many I was going to have to carry around for you at the National when you're trying to trade them off. Cornered the market.
Good luck with that.
Johan Moncada. Oh, I'm sorry, but
not going to turn those into Roberto Clemente this year.
I don't anticipate that.
Unless it's like
maybe Roberto Kelly.
The thing is, you know what it's going to happen.
But not in Yankees uniform.
I'm going to unload them all just to get a few bucks back, and then like in a year or two, he'll be like going an amazing run, or the White Sox will get their act together, and he'll have some postseason, heroics or something. But PSA is certainly clearing out that backlog a little bit. And I think a lot of their stuff is graded. I think their backlog is getting those things encapsulated, shipped out. I think that's where the new backlog is. Mm-hmm. And they've been popping a lot. I'm finally at the point where I only have a handful. I think I have a PSA DNA order and a couple vintage. And, thankfully, I'm almost done with them. Not that I won't send something off to them in the future at some point, but it's like – and I've seen this from a lot of people. Obviously, there's a lot of people psyched and excited. Hey, $18 PSA subs and all that. And I get it. But I feel like there are a lot of people who not necessarily that didn't have, dozens of orders out for a long time. Because I see a lot of other collectors and stuff that are just like, dude, I'm taking a break from PSA. The $18 doesn't interest me. I'm not interested in sending stuff off that's advertised to come back in 6 months because we know that could turn into a year. So,
right. Yeah,
it's in one way nice to get them back. It's nice to get those cards that have been missing for so long out. But at the same time, the credit card charges keep coming right around the time where you're not necessarily looking to spend money on that stuff.
Right.
And there's some great cards that I'm getting back in some of them. I got things that you forget about. I got a Dansby Swanson image variation short print. I popped that one up on eBay. Not that I wouldn't mind keeping it, but I certainly don't need to keep it. Right. And I've gotten a few offers on it and stuff like that. So I'm not losing money. I'm not one of those people who send in, $1,000 $1 cards, and I'm literally getting back an order that I can't get half my money back, but it's like these things you expect it back a year ago, you know?
So yeah, and my next question is like, first off, are these cards you're getting back? Are they the ones that were dated right before the big mail-in day, or is this something way?
This is mostly stuff from right around that time that was sent off right either that exact time frame or before. I actually do still have a vintage order that's out from months before that. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like I would think the vintage ones would have been the ones because back like before everything completely exploded. If I sent in orders primarily vintage, I swear they got back way quicker.
Right.
Because I think like the experienced vintage guys just like graded them. Now I guess everyone they hire now probably doesn't know what anything is pre 2017. So it's like they're taking an eternity.
And my next question is going to be with this is, do you think they're pushing them out so fast right now because they didn't make the greatest impression last year at the National by having such a backlog, or not even taking cards and going to the National and grading them and getting them back to people no matter what the price was?
I'm assuming it's mostly a coincidence. They're just finally catching up to a degree, but I'm sure they want to get the stuff out of the building. I would expect that they expect to get a massive amount of submissions
on this.
I'm sure they're getting a ton shipped to them, but I'm sure a lot of people at the National are going to be like, oh, I'll drop off 20 cards, 40 cards, 100 cards, whatever. So I'm sure they expect a lot to come in.
All right.
And, I have a few cards that have been sitting around that make sense to send to PSA. So I'll probably send them in through a group submitter. You could probably figure out who I'll send it to. And then, I'm preparing a CSG order that I'll drop off because, for one thing, dropping it off the National saves me a couple bucks from having to ship it out. No big deal, but it'd be nice to just kind of meet those guys.
Right.
I think they've done an okay job, and I think they've done maybe a little too late to help themselves. I mean, obviously with time they will, and they have a lot of money backing them, but they made some critical mistakes when entering the market. I think they've corrected a few of those mistakes, but I'll drop some off to them. I feel like I'll get them back within 30 days, which isn't bad. It's a lot of PC stuff, so I'm going to give them a shot. And, of course, SGC, I shipped off an order a few days ago, and I fully anticipate having that back before the National so I can hand deliver a few cards. So,
right. And with you
so
saying
there are options. So that is something for PSA to be like, hey, we need to get things back because we need to,
Yeah. And Dave, what were you going to say?
So is CSG going to have any kind of special at the National if you drop them off there we know of, or it's still going to be like $15 a card?
No, it's still the same price. I mean, it basically just, like for me, if dropping it off, it saves me $40, $50 in shipping because you got to figure when you're sending off cards. I mean, obviously you can, if I'm sending my own submission and it's all BS stuff, like I'll just send it priority mail. But like if I'm sending stuff for other people, those submissions, even if they're lower end submissions, as some of the some of the elites in this on YouTube world would say, sending in our junk. It's still, before you know it, you send off, say, 50 cards. It adds to like $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 pretty quickly. And I'm like, I add that insurance up, and I'm like, oh.
I'll get to a story about that here in a minute. So, Mr. Mangini here makes a great point. Personally, my entire hobby, joy, is dependent on PSA. There wouldn't be a card hobby without them. I don't know if that last sentence is necessarily true. I think the hobby's going to be here regardless, no matter what. But with so many people, and me included, was started getting into the set registry and all that because of PSA. I can understand that, and but I quickly started looking for other outlets when PSA started increasing their prices. And I think I like CSG. I think they listen to their customers or they wouldn't have changed. Oh, okay. You got to be more sarcastic than that when I'm trying to read, John.
I'll tell you what I'm not sarcastic about. I was watching a video. I think it was on Elite Hunter's channel. and John was on there, and he was talking about picking up an Ed Delahanty card at the National, and I was like, stopped what I was doing. I was like, oh, if he picks one up, I got to see that card in person.
You said that, and I was talking to somebody. Oh, I was talking to Don on the phone the other day, and we were talking. I was like, I'm going to follow him around just to see, what he's what he's picking up. Anyone getting any comics graded at the National? Let me see. At the National, John. I know I'm looking to get a couple of comics because their last couple of times there's been a bigger comic guy there that has a bunch of nice comics there myself, and I've been hunting for one. So that's one on my list. On my list up here. But what I also wanted to get to before I got sidetracked with that, I saw a squirrel. With them getting these out, do you think they're rushing it and just throwing grades kind of on them? Because I know me and Dave were talking a little bit before we went on. Dave's really got a good eye. He does a lot of 80s, 90s, looking for those rookies. And then he was getting back some pretty modern cards. What did you say? Even 8.5s, Dave?
Yeah.
So, are you think maybe SGC and CSG have kind of put pressure on to be a harder grader, or do you just think these new people are hired? Both of y'all, either way.
So those are all CSG cards that came back with the 8.
Oh, there you go. Right.
So I did get some random SGC. I think Harper back. That was an 8. That was a little.
And I think that question back.
But like the CSG just seemed they were just tough when they first came out.
Yeah.
So all those old slabs. All those, I just got a bunch of cards I can't even do nothing with.
Yeah, because they were almost like a half a grade, I think, different now when they came back out with the system.
They're still pretty tough though. The last order I got, I know,
but they're consistently
a few people got a bunch of 8.5s, 9.5s. I mean, I got some 10s as well. But as long as they stay consistent, I'm cool with that. At least you kind of know what you're getting. PSA is a little bit all over the place. I mean, I had the one order I felt like they were tough on, another one I felt like they were easy on. And I feel like that's kind of the way they've been. I think PSA at this point has so many graders, most likely. They don't really reveal to us their numbers, but newer graders, so many graders, I mean, you're going to have some inconsistencies that way. So,
yeah, I mean, I just know when I set a card in, it's supposed to be modern. It's the worst case scenario. It's a 9. Worst with PSA. I hope it's a 10. If it's SGC, I know it's going to be probably a 9.5 or a 10. Maybe occasionally be a 9 or 9.5, depending on what I'm looking at. But some of the cards with CSG you send in that are, I'm like, this is a 9.5, 10, and it comes back at 8.5. It's kind of like, whoa, I didn't miss that much stuff on there.
Right. Yeah. What are you seeing that I'm not seeing?
Yeah. Or they all come back.
You got to have good subgrades. But real quick, I saw Bobbles is here. Evening, everyone. I guess that's Mr. Bobbles. I set up a new display back here, Bobbles. Almost all SGC for you back here. Hope you enjoy it. I had to have my team on that today to make my background look better. Very fact that you can resubmit to PSA and expect a different grade is a bad sign. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that in the past. I don't know how consistent that is. And again, it's subjective, right? It even from card to card, person to person. I can get a card and you can go through the line, give it to me, and I'll say, oh, it's a 9.5. Crack it out of plastic, send it back through the next day, and it's, and now it's a 9. It's cards. Just how it is. But I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's person to person. Like, I'm more strict. I mean, I literally. At this point, it was years ago where I was just like, whatever, I'm going to be less strict and stop caring as much. And if you lose some, you lose some. But like, I mean, I have old PSA videos from 4 or 5 years ago where it was like, 98% like PSA 10s. Like, I was
Right.
overly
you had a
struck. Like,
you had a pretty good like streak there where every card you pulled was a 10.
Right.
yeah, I would have like 100
And what-
card orders and it would be like 98 10s.
And
Like,
what's great is watching these people do these reveals and they start griping when they got like now they have like 70% gem rate. It's like, oh, what's going on? They suck, whatever.
well, I mean, it's worse when you can see a card's like 90 10 off center. Like, why is this a 6? I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this,
Well,
on a phone in sunlight, like not barely paying attention. I can tell you right away, like that was an 8 at best. Like you should have probably opened your eyes and looked at the card.
Well, the best was like Ray from Philly's first grading submission.
The legendary Ken Griffey Jr.
so this is John Mangini. This is how you're sarcastic. I can understand this right here. Grading is a scam. LOL.
Well, it is kind of a scam for modern stuff, but it is what it is. Most of us are foolish enough to continue to do it. Right. So, and then foolish enough to pay extra money for the same card because it's got a label on it that says 10 from a company that we know is inconsistent, but we do it anyway. So
yeah. We'll sit here.
If you look in the mirror, that's who we can blame.
Yeah. I mean, and then next week we'll all be sitting here.
Dude, I don't have a problem at all, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's like
had to take out most of my cards because
there's like a dozen of these right behind me, just filled with cards. So
yeah, we're exactly so.
I mean, think about it. Like, if you just pick like random people, just random person knows nothing about baseball cards, doesn't even necessarily know you collect cards. How nuts would they think you are when they realize you're either flying, more than halfway across the country or spending 5 days going to Atlantic City of all places to hang out with a bunch of dudes and just like literally look at cards for 19 hours a day for 5 days straight.
So I just started young. Most people know I talk about this a lot. I just started a new job. I've been there maybe 3 months. And I was like, before I came to it, switching from my other place, I was like, I have to have this week off. That's a deal breaker, right? I have to have it. And he goes, it's none of my business. It's not gonna be a problem, but what's going on? And I said, and you don't know how many times I get this. I go, oh, it's a card show. And he goes, oh, really? What kind of cars are you into? And I'm like, oh, and I think he says card back to me. I go, oh, I collect Pete Alonso. And they're like, I'm not familiar with that. Because I'm like, oh, you're thinking car. No, I'm not going to a car show. Cards, baseball cards, it's sports memorabilia. Then I got to explain it.
And he didn't say like, we're sorry, but we don't have a position here for you.
Yeah, I thought you were an adult, So, but the guys now, they know I'm on I have a YouTube channel, so I get that joked on me all the time and all that. So it's a good thing.
Well, it just reminds me of like, we're just talking about like, so my first national, my wife's finally like, okay, you can go, whatever. And then finally I'm like, babe, there's nothing weird about meeting a stranger that you just talked to on the internet, sharing a hotel room with to go look at baseball cards for a week. There's nothing weird about that.
It's really not.
And that was the thing. Like, so my first day, I met Michael Fabian in the airport. That was the first time we actually spoke person to person. Never spoke to him on the phone. It was always through messages through Facebook or, obviously watching each other's videos. Mm-hmm. Yeah, met in the airport and go checked in the hotel, and that's that. But it was nothing weird about it to me.
It's strange because it's one of those things we're so used to it that it honestly, I never like think of it that way. Like, oh man, this is, but then when you take someone's perspective that has no idea what the hell you're talking about and you're like, oh, I can understand why you think bunch of nut jobs, but like, but that's why the national special. And I know like there's always debate now, like people searching for content, especially this year, people like a handful of people going out of their way to like talk about why you shouldn't go to the national or why this and that. It's like, I get it. Yeah. I understand it. This year, especially, the economy there's question marks. Post-pandemic, inflation, the travel's ridiculous. I completely understand why some people can't go.
And where it's at, a lot of people, or for whatever reason, don't want to go to that.
Well, yeah, because it's like, let's be honest. I mean, and I don't know if a lot of people realize like what a crummy city Atlantic City kind of is, to be honest. Like, I mean, the convention center's nice and all, but like there's some rough areas around there.
Yeah, but the way everybody's talking
careful
about it, the same weekend, I didn't know this, but as the card convention's going on, right across the street is the annual thief convention and holdup place going on, where they're teaching people how to do it because everybody's scared they're going to get robbed. I'm like, holy cow! You go to Chicago, where it's the death capital of the world. They're only second to Afghanistan, and nobody says anything. But if you go to New Jersey, you better get a chain wallet.
Well, it just depends where. If you're in your groups and you're around the convention center, you'll probably be okay. I probably wouldn't go for a stroll in certain areas late. But it's also just where it's located. There's not like many direct flights there, right? So like for me, I'm driving, it's not a big deal, but I can imagine like if I had to fly to Chicago and had to then take an hour train ride or had to like forget an Uber, like I think about how expensive an Uber is just to take like a 15-minute ride, an hour plus, and God knows what kind of traffic you're going to run into. I mean, you're talking it might cost you $200. So like I get all that. That's another pain in the ass portion of it. So like I get that not, and just even in general, just for even if it was in Chicago, the more convenient, the best setup every year. Not everyone can go every year. They have family obligations, financial restraints. Like there's a lot of reasons why you can't go, but like the way people make it out, like you shouldn't go. You should go if you want to go. You should go if you can go. The thing is, once you go, you're always going to want to go because it's so many things. It's like, it's a vacation. Like you treat it as a vacation. It's getting away from real life. It's getting away from work. It's getting away from whatever else is bringing you down in life and stressing you out. Like you're literally going somewhere to do something that you love, to hang out with like-minded people who love the same stuff, and you're going to be around friends the whole time. And that's why, like you mentioned last year was like a whole new experience for you. I could go there myself and have a hell of a time just looking at stuff, let alone buying stuff. But you add in the groups of people you're around. I mean, it is like nothing you've ever, it's unbelievably amazing. So it's a vacation. It's a family reunion. It's a high school, college reunion, getting together with your buddies. Like you just fall in sync with everyone. Like you may not have seen or even talked to someone for a year, and you're going to fall right in line with them. You're going to hang out. You're going to have a good time. You're going to spend all your time together. I mean, hanging out 18 hours a day, going to the show, going to lunch, getting stuff to eat, hanging out afterwards, going to all these events. Like there's so many great reasons to go, let alone looking at the cards, enjoying just looking at stuff that you can't necessarily dream of buying. Then you get to add stuff to your collection. You get to find some deals. And then there's even that aspect. You can treat it as a business trip, which it is for some people. Some people it's a full, like it's one of the biggest events of the year for them to either acquire stuff or sell some stuff. Like for me going this year, I have the eBay store and all that stuff now. So I'm doing that, even though I never really made a video talking about it. Like that's like a side thing for me, but I'm still a collector first. But like, I would like to pick some stuff up for sure. And I actually have a lot of stuff I have to bring because I am in a position where I probably have to move some stuff to have money to buy some stuff. So you can treat it all these different ways. The fact of the matter is, it is the single greatest event every year in the hobby. And if you can do it, you should do it because it's a blast, but you shouldn't, force yourself to do it if you can't.
Yeah, beside financial
Dallas has a show 3 times.
I mean, all those shows are cool, but those shows just aren't going to be the same. The Philly show is a really good show.
Right,
I look forward to it 3 times a year because, I can meet up with a handful of people for sure. And it's like, there's great cards. And the same thing, I can hop on eBay right now and find some cool stuff. But it's just, if you haven't been to a national, like you just don't understand. You might think you understand and you might have a grasp of some aspects, but like until you're there,
Right.
it's like, and I've been there, a number of times, Dave, as like, you're still going to be overwhelmed in some way, shape, or form at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to walk in, you're going to be like, oh my God, there's stuff everywhere. You're going to take a step and, run into someone it's fun as can be, but it can be exhausting as well.
Right. Now, Rick's got the right priorities, right? MikeO, where is a good place to eat lunch in AC? Are you going to show us newbies around there? Are you going to show us newbies around there?
So
it's been a while since I've been to it. It's been a while since I've been down to AC there, a couple years. But Dave, I know, has got the bargain locked up.
Yeah, you got to walk right across the street to the hot dog stand that sells them for like $1 instead of in like 50-cent Cokes. It's perfect.
Yep. And then he's got the this one here, great point. I'm flying a overnight from San Francisco. Tell me it's not easy to get to AC. Rick, because you're a warrior. There's a lot of people that just don't want to do that, and you're lucky enough you're landing and riding in the Misfits car, I think, too. So you can't fall asleep with those guys. You ain't got to be worried about getting robbed. You're riding.
I want to know how much that bus Don is renting is costing him, because every time I hear this, there's like 3 dozen people he's driving.
I think he's got to go and drop off the luggage first and come back and get everybody. He was trying to tell me the other night, like, and he still, I don't think he 100% knows who's all riding with him. He'll tell us over here in a minute. Oh, I'm telling you, the best part I think about this, and the sad part too, is after the show, the stories that are going to come out of all these places where everybody's staying together. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like 10 guys staying in a house together. It's something. Maybe I'm thinking too much of this and thinking of me as a, I don't know, guy that it could have some fun stuff. It's costing Rick some.
It's going to be fun, but it is going to be, there will be a lot of stories because it's going to be broken up to a degree, because there are I know of 4 or 5 houses with like 10 people. I think ours has like 6 or so. So it might be a little less late nights, wandering in the hotels together, but it's going to be a lot of late nights of individual groups, probably like doing live videos. There might be a lot of competition, live videos going on from like 5 different houses.
I'm definitely taking mine so I can do live streams, so I can contact other people, other YouTubers that are not going for whatever reason, and have stuff with them so they can ask questions.
So what we should probably do is actually have like this right here, but instead of having like us 3,
have one representative from every house.
Houses, and everybody that can just come and talk for a little bit, then they walk away, someone else jumps in. And
that would actually be pretty cool. We should what night?
We do that from 2:00 in the morning to 5 a.m. and then we go to the show.
What is it? What is it? Thursday night is the baseball collector hangout, and then Friday is Filmington.
And the showdown on the rooftop with Filmington and Jack. I don't know what they're calling it. Jackify and Filmington on the rooftop.
So that's like a Saturday night thing, maybe.
And I don't think they're really inviting everybody. I think it slipped out. It was supposed to be just them 2. I'm not sure.
Well, I think they got a 2-hour intimate hangout, and then others.
Oh, look at the skyline. Oh, man. That's a great idea.
I hope there's more than one bathroom in these places. I hope that too.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking the same thing. Don said he's thinking his as an outhouse because I guess they were looking at the surrounding area and they're kind of worried about the neighborhood they're staying in. Don is recreating Clark Griswold.
Ours looks, I was looking on Google Maps yesterday or the day before. We look like we got one of the nice streets.
I'm saying with Bobbles, we're right on the water, so I think we're the only house around there too, from what I see.
Yeah, you're not really in downtown EC.
Yeah, we're like it's a mile straight if you go across the water, but we got to go around a little bit to get to the convention
I
center.
think we're like a 1.5 mile drive, I believe, if I remember right. So
I saw it was an 8 minute. With the time I was looking at the map, it was an 8 minute drive.
hey, if anyone out there is watching and you've got a super VIP pass and you have no need for a parking pass, feel free to pass it along. Contact MikeO. Because I can tell you right now, if you don't have a
I'm looking
parking
at mine
pass,
right
it's going to
now.
be a pain in the ass. Because I think it cost me $15 or $20, like way back in like 2016, and the National's a little bigger now.
I would say beer. I will buy some beers for whoever gives us that pass.
Well, I think
beers on Dave
and his wife might have got. Yeah, okay, but I have to see. We have an extra. We have to see. That's what I was going to say. I have one too. And we just
Super.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you might be driving. That's the thing.
I'm driving.
I need someone who's not driving. Well, see that we have to determine. Like we might go back and forth sometimes. It may make sense on occasion to use the Ubers and stuff.
Right.
I would Uber in pairs or threes, but that's just my small advice.
Not fours.
You can do fours as well. I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, how many fit in the Uber that one day last year when like
it was me, you, it was four of us.
I don't know, but I can tell you it ain't great being the middle of a sandwich. I can tell you that ain't a pleasant experience.
Well, it was Ed in the front, you in the middle, on the hump, and me and Dave. And every car was smaller than the one before. Yeah, so Bobbles is telling you we might have an extra one at our house for you. We'll let you know. We'll be up there Tuesday. I think most of the people showed up Tuesday night. Because you could go Tuesday and go pick up your stuff.
We'll be out there Wednesday before the show.
I think Tuesday you can go to the venue and pick up your pass and everything, all your goodie bag and stuff.
Yeah, I guess if I would have planned it out somehow, I would. See, the thing is, we went into the house together. Our house doesn't open up until Wednesday, but technically I would be available to go down Tuesday, but plan is now Wednesday. Hopefully get down there plenty early, check in hopefully early. I would love to hit the show, as close to opening as possible, because that was one of my, not regrets last year, but last year I ended up going to the Cubs game, which was awesome. It was really fun, but I like getting, even if you don't do anything that first day, you don't buy anything, just to get in there and kind of get it out of your system and glance around, I think is valuable.
Gauge the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I want to see the craziness that I believe is going to be at the PSA booth like it was last year that night. I think even at $150 a card again, they're going to sell out before Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, people will definitely be lined up and be running to that booth.
Yeah, even because even with the $18 card, there's still going to be yeah, of course, man, Gene. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you. I think you're a swell guy.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Will be the best part of the show.
Oh, for sure. Like hanging out after the shows, but also hanging out, like waiting to go into the show, hanging out at the show. You do have to. I find, at least for me, I have to find a way to break away at some point, just to make sure, because I like to look at everything. I do like to weave around and then get some ideas for some stuff I'm looking at. But I'm going to gravitate. Like, I don't know what your guys. I mean, Dave's always looking for 5-star, and Big Scott's always looking to add awesome stuff to his collection. And then, of course, he's going to buy some David Wrights and some, Pete Alonso's and stuff like that. But
I had to show Dave my last. I was thinking of him because I got not only a 5-star, but the David Wright 5-star.
That was in your last mail day, right?
Yeah, and I got that for next to nothing too.
Little jelly on that one because I need that one.
Yeah, that was so. Last year is I finally got to meet you guys in person. Me and Mike would talk some here and there. We started doing group submissions and sales, and he did all that stuff. But got to meet him, hang out with him and Dave, and meet the world famous Ed Wesker Griff. So this year, can't wait to meet even more people. I met Don. I can't go through the list. Everybody that's over here, except for John.
Yeah, my neck is still sore from looking up at Don. I'm like, oh my Lord.
Yeah, he claims he's only like 6'4", but
I think he's like 7'2". Bob Lewis.
Yeah, I do too.
Same thing.
I do too. But anyway, and last year we saw Dave got the 10. He got some great 5 stars. Me and Mike picked up the Clemente rookies. Mike, how he got his. That is
influencer Big Scott 35. He is a YouTube influencer.
Oh, yeah, there's
your last year.
Donnie baseball from the
Transcendent, right?
Transcendent.
Yeah. Those cards are so good looking.
I got the Piazza Mets one from the Transcendent last year.
Yeah, last year I ended up with more Red Sox cards than Yankee cards. I thought that was kind of odd for me.
Yeah, that was weird. I thought you were turning into, and we got to hold a mantle in the.
You guys, the Yankees fans, who cares? We want to see that card.
Yeah, that was most amazing thing. So, this year, who cares where it's at, right? If you're scared, don't take a lot of big cards and don't carry a lot of money. But travel in groups, which you should do anyway. I'll take this all day. Greater than Gary V. So I thank you for that. But anyway, is there anything that y'all are kind of looking for? I don't know if you're going to be doing videos or what, but because at the end of this, we're going to go over the top 5 cards that you should be shopping for at the National. But go ahead.
The top 5 cards going up right now.
Yeah. I know what I want to tell you about the PSA thing before we get further. So I'm watching a video today, and a dude had 48 Prism basketball of the same player graded. So what is the difference in that and me sitting in 48 Gary Carters? It's the same amount of cards, right?
There's more people that want to buy your cards, and there's a smaller population, so your cards are definitely better.
I'm sitting there, and this guy's complaining about people. The dude's got the same card. And I looked it up. It was like a PSA 10 was like a $70 to $80 selling. But if you're going to put 40 of them online at the same time, you're not going to sell them for $80 a pop. It's not how it works. You're going to have the low ball them. And I don't know how long. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I never heard of the guy. But of course it was basketball.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually if I see a PSA return, it's basketball. I'm in and out pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to because the guy, he said he was complaining about the bulk cementer he went through. He might have.
Then send him yourself, buddy.
He's got a 2 in his name. But,
I mean, honestly, like I've done submissions obviously for years. Like it's a lot of work. It takes I have sympathy for like the guys who send the stuff in. Like it's not easy to do. I mean, you do it, like you take responsibility for it. So you got to do it. And obviously people should get them back quick and stuff like that. But like you're putting out a lot of money up front, obviously you're getting it back, but it takes work. It takes a lot of discipline to do them. Yeah, so
Three Rivers said he saw it today.
And I mean, collecting is pretty simple. Like people come on and they're just talking all. It's like collect what you like, enjoy what you collect. Like you can do some of it for money to a degree too, I guess, if you want. But like, there's no problem with that. No. But like, if you're worried about all that, like, guess what? If you're buying Khalil Watson and all these other that De La Cruz guy, like, guess what? Here's the bottom line. You look at Bowman. Most of those Bowmans that are selling for $100, I got news for you. In 5 years, they're going to be $2 cards. Most of them. That's just the way it is. Yep. Same thing with the hot rookies. Some of them will evolve into Hall of Famers. They'll be bigger cards, and that'll be cool. But, like, that's just the way it is. And that's the way it is with collecting modern. If you like a player and you're enjoying watching a guy's career, you should collect them. You should just should know, like, there's a reason there's only a limited number of Hall of Famers. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, David Wright was a wonderful player, and he's going to be collectible for a long time because he's going to be ingrained in a lot of Mets fans. Like,
he'll be in their Ring of Honor or whatever.
He's going to be an all-time Met. He'll probably be like a Mets Hall of Fame or whatever they consider it. Mm-hmm. He probably just didn't do it long enough to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to have some collectability. Are his cards going to be worth $1 billion? Of course not. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is with a lot of the Phillies I collect. You have guys, certain players that are on memorable teams. Like I collect anything and everything Phillies. You watch one of my videos, you're going to see some loser you never heard of that I'm buying, but that's just the way it is. But it means something to me, and that's what your collection is supposed to be. That's what your personal collection is supposed to be. Then you're going to have players that are on teams, say the 93 Phillies, a well-known team, or a championship team like the '08 Phillies. Then you're going to have the guys that end up finding their way into the Hall of Fame that maybe don't play for a spectacular team. I mean, Kurt Schilling, obviously, based on his on-field performance, should be in the Hall of Fame, and someday he'll probably find his way. God knows how long it'll take. Scott Rowland, his career was only spent a period of time in Philadelphia. He's trending very close to the Hall of Fame. Like, those two guys played on I mean, Schilling was on the 93 Phillies, but post that, I mean, the Phillies teams were horrendous they played. So, like, those guys will have value, but, like, not everyone's going to.
So,
but everyone acts like every new player is the greatest ever. And we see it year in year. And some of these guys, there's a handful of these rookies from this year that in 25, 30 years will be in the Hall of Fame. And their cards will carry value. But some of these guys that's just the way it is. Like,
and just because they're in the Hall of Fame doesn't mean it's going to carry value either. I mean,
yeah, you have a ton of players who just don't.
Inner circle, outer circle, and guys.
It depends on, the market they're in and the fan. Mm-hmm. Like Rafael Devers has been killing it, and his cards are cheap as can be. I mean, you can pick up a PSA 10 for probably like $50 a Topps Chrome if you shop around.
Yep.
And you tell me he shouldn't be more than Tatis? Tatis has got he's got the attention of the hobby, right or wrong. So that's just the way it is. I mean,
if you just want to point at how ridiculous the hobby is right now, look at basketball and football especially football, quarterback auto, cards, first card, rookie card, RPAs, whatever you want to call them. Going for $10,000, $20,000 because it's a 1-of-1, even though he signed 4,000 different cards. I don't understand. And Bobbles is on here and did a great video on how quarterbacks over the last few years, even if they have a good year, they fall off really, really fast. So it just depends on who's around them and who's not. Patty Mahomes looks like he's the future. But, if Kansas City all of a sudden stinks, he's not going to be that. Joe Montana's great because he had Jerry Rice. Just don't tell nobody, it's just you got to have a great team around you. I mean, that's Terry Bradshaw will be the first to tell you. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback because he had John Stallworth and Lynn Swann.
All right, so you said you wanted to know what people are looking for at the National, right? What's Dave buying? What's Dave looking for? Because we know Dave's going to buy everything. He'll buy some wax, I'm sure, at some point because you got to bust packs and drink beer.
I know. I got to get my
He already put in his first purchase. He already put in an online order for 2 cases of beer.
I did.
The first thing he looked up was how much beer was at the concession stand in there.
Well, so
I guess technically by rule, I'm supposed to buy those beers in New Jersey.
Yeah, so like Big
not
Smooth,
crossing state lines.
Who wants to go to the Walmart, before the show? And I'm like, just pick me up some beer. That's all I need. I don't need food. Give me 2 cases of beer, and we'll be good to go. All right, so pickups, National. So depending on the price, I'm trying to get a Perez Steele Mickey Mantle autograph. I don't know. The last one I saw on eBay went a little bit higher than I was hoping. So if I could find a deal, I'm going to try to pull that. If not, maybe a Ken Griffey Jr. autograph. I don't have one of him yet. So I think those
Griffey's. You got to add a Griffey.
I do.
Griffey shit's going up though. Griffey stuff is expensive.
I know.
I got even like basic, just run-of-the-mill autos. You're looking
even basic base cards. I saw like a '98 Stadium Club card for like $10. I was like, damn.
Yeah. Griffey.
Maybe if I can find like the 2014 5-star Griffey or another Griffey around that, probably $250 to $300. I'm thinking.
Are you all in on a Mariners card?
Hmm?
Are you all in on a Mariners card? Because his Reds cards are definitely cheaper.
Yeah.
But Mariners is what you want, though.
So technically, I need both uniforms because that's how I like to do it. So I'm not against it.
He's got a White Sox one too. I mean,
Well,
He is a White Sox
let's
auto.
not go crazy. So Mariners, I'm willing to pay up the higher dollar for the Mariner one.
Yeah.
But if I can get that's probably like around the 300 mark. I'm thinking 250. I haven't looked at the prices lately, but that was like last year was about 250 to 3, depending on the whatever the card is. And then the Reds ones where I could probably find for $150 to $200 roughly. So that was last year.
Should have hung onto the one that I sold during the live sale a couple years ago for like $80.
So we'll see. I mean, the Reds ones I don't really like. I haven't seen it really. I like the way the look of the card is. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot on a Reds uniform one unless the card just looks awesome. So we'll see. But that'll be the Griffey and the Mantle will be the big ones, and then everything else is just kind of in my zone. So we'll see what I find.
Jets cards.
I don't really. So if I find a Brett Favre,
Wilson,
I don't want the Wilsons yet because I'm not. They're too expensive for a rookie audit. Like even a rookie or something.
that's what
They're too expensive, and most of them don't look good. The ones that will look good are the ones that are way too expensive. So I'll wait for a Zach Wilson for a couple years probably, and maybe a third or fourth year Wilson autograph might be cheaper. I don't need the rookie on him. Maybe if I could find the Favre flawless in the Jets uniform, I'll spend some money on that one too.
So I have the Jets quarterback. So who do you got the most autos of?
Probably Chad Pennington. I think.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
I think it's still.
You wearing the Pennington jersey again?
You
wearing the Pennington jersey again this year?
Oh, always wearing Pennington jersey. I think I might have more Geno Smiths than Pennington. I don't. It's pretty close.
Yeah, because I know you collect a lot of Geno Smith. So
luckily I sold most of them because like whenever, and I didn't pay a whole lot for Geno Smith because I started collecting like after his rookie year, so probably late 2014 into 2015. So they weren't too expensive then. So when I sold them for about break even. But I had almost every one of his rookie cards minus like one-on-ones, and but I sold most of them. And then when he got traded or signed with the Giants, I sold 29. I sold 29 Geno Smiths in one day. So
29.
357 just won the chat. So just let you know. Wesker Griff's the only one I know. I got to bring out the baseball omnibus. So when he pulls out some Phillies autograph guy, I know who he's talking about. I have to look him up, see who when he played. Who was this?
My number one focus is always finding cards that I can't necessarily find on eBay. So I'll be paying extra special attention to the pre-war guys and just trying to find something that you don't see very often, trying to pick up something that I need for the collection. I like to add one from all the different sets produced. And obviously there's some out there I know I'll see that'll be thousands that probably won't happen. But if I can find some in that, $300 to $500 range, I hope to pick up, some of that stuff. And, you always see other pre-war and vintage stuff that you're just tempted to pull the trigger on. But lately I've just been like infatuated with looking for refractors, Phillies refractors. So you can find all kinds of cool stuff. Hunting for a Philly World Series card. Well, not in those 1800s. They were pretty bad. No, but just buying cheap refractors, I've had a ton of fun. I've been getting in PWEs with like Ricky Batalico, and like obviously it doesn't mean a lot to you guys, but like he was the Phillies representative in '96 for the All-Star game, which was in Philadelphia. He's actually does their a lot of the post-game stuff now. So like buying stuff like that is just can be fun, and you can get them for $1 or $2 or $3, and they're actually kind of hard to find.
Yeah, I remarked on my last video of your video that you were showing all of that because I was just your excitement. You can tell you just love collecting this stuff when you're showing that. You were just like a little kid, like going over your childhood a little bit there. It was, it was like, okay, I don't have a problem watching this and say I'm still here twice down below, it was.
I don't remember if I replied to those comments yet, but I got a few of those. They're like, "Yeah, I'm still watching."
Yeah. So I think in our community, I think that's the way our community is. We love the collecting side of it, and Dave gets excited with those 5 stars. That's why I had to show off that one. Now, when you're looking for the Griffey, are you looking for a 5-star, or is there a particular one?
Oh, so I do like the 2014.
Is Griffey. That the one with the old school Mariners?
I think that's one he's like in a sleeve. It's like the cutoff shirt with the long sleeves underneath it.
I know exactly. Yeah, as soon as you said that, it popped.
Yeah. And obviously a 2013 would be cool too because that's just a great set. But reality, whatever. If I find a Griffey, as long as I think it looks good, then I'm good to go. I don't want like a sticker autograph. I'm not going to just to grab one, but it'll be something like a 5-star preferred. So.
Right, I got you. Yeah, I was in the same boat. My first national I went for that was 2 cards on my mind. Oh no, this was the second one. I wanted a Griffey and auto, and I wanted the Harper. RPA, and I ended up getting up both of them. Ones I like. Harper I no longer have, and that went away. You broke my heart, and so I will touch just for a minute, but I will next week I will be having people from the National House is what we're calling it, with Bobbles and a few other people hopefully on. But I'm going to try to finish my 60s run of flagship Mets cards. I need like 3 or 4. And they're the pricier ones. So I want just beaters, and hopefully I can find them. I know.
Hey, at least you didn't have any 53 cards. That's right. Where you'd be in trouble with some of those high numbers.
Yeah. And I mean, one is a high number, of course, Choo-Choo rookie. So it's that one's a little pricey to have to add just for completing a set, but it is what it is. Once you do it, I just want to get the 60s done, so I feel like I've completed something with that.
So who are you missing?
I'm missing like the Choo-Choo rookie, Nolan Ryan rookie, of course, and a Seaver rookie. Those are 3 I know right off the top of my head. And I just don't want to pay. I don't want to pay big money for a raw card that I'm going to put in a book. So I'm going to have to, though, eventually break down, do it.
You have like the 64 Stengel?
Do I have it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Casey Stengel manager card?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of cards I have from the 60s.
Yeah, I got a couple of those. I thought that was a cool card when I was younger, him being, a Mets manager. Same way with Yogi Berra. I used to have a infatuation with managers. I love Tommy Lasorda, Earl Weaver. The managers from 70s and 80s, man, they just don't make them like that
anymore. Now you can't name half the managers in baseball. They get fired every 2 years.
Yeah, and they just, all of them had just such a personality. When you talked about the team, the manager kind of was the personality you thought of, not necessarily the players. On a lot, Lou Piniella, Dusty Baker is a little bit like that now. He'll get a little fired up even at his age, but Most of them, they don't jump in until a player jumps in, and then they got to protect the player. A little different. I used to love watching Earl Weaver lose his mind, Sparky, Bill Martin, or what's his face up there, Yankees, Billy Martin. Him and Reggie get into it. So.
Did you ever watch that TV series, The Bronx is Burning? ESPN did a while ago. That was like 10 years ago.
Nah, I didn't.
It's like an
Was it about the
episode
Yankees?
show. Yeah.
Yeah, I might, because I don't know.
It's about that and like what was going on in New York at the time. It's a fun watch.
Right.
I think I have it somewhere on DVD. I remember I watched it when it came out, and then I think someone gave me the DVD run. I watched it with my dad up in the mountains a couple years ago. He had fun watching it too.
So you're taking CSG order. Do we know yet if SGC have they said anything?
I have not seen anything. I've heard that they're not going to do on-site grading, but I have not seen anything official.
But didn't they come out officially last year and say that?
Last year, they definitely said they weren't doing anything. Right. They said it wasn't fair to take away resources, and they did all the promotional stuff and the free breaks and stuff, all that kind of stuff. And then they're announcing me on the big thing over the speaker. I'm like, what are you talking about me for?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know CSG, they're doing on-site grading, which, I guess that wouldn't be your first choice, generally speaking, but it's like $40, which sounds high for a CSG card. But if you buy something vintage and you raw and you just kind of want to get it authenticated and stuff, it's probably not the worst deal in the world, or something I would love for SGC to do on-site grading, just in case you find something really cool that's raw. Give you that peace of mind, get it graded, and then that way you can deal with if there's an issue right away. But I don't expect them to do that. Though they do seem like they're making sure right now that they're keeping things clear. They're getting through orders really quick. I don't think they want any kind of backlog pre-national. So
and I think it worked out for them so well last year. If it's not broke, don't fix it type of deal. I think the business end of it, it wouldn't be a bad idea to accept submissions maybe there. But shoot, if you take something there on your own on Wednesday that you could have shipped on Monday, they could probably have it back to you before they got home good, if by bringing it to you. So, I mean, that's, it's GAI should do on-site grading. Is that new grading company?
Is that the Master P one? Or is that?
I don't know.
Another one.
Pretty sure they're out of business, aren't they?
HGA, I think, is about ready to close up their strip.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have really nice slabs and they have nice labels.
They're pretty.
But, I mean, honestly, I did a test run because I graded a little bit with everyone months and months ago, maybe a year ago, just because I didn't want to be one of those hypocrites that gets on there and goes, CSG sucks because they don't sell for this value. Or SGC sucks because they're not PSA.
Right.
So I sent stuff to GMA. I sent stuff to everyone. I did send HGA Ultra Modern stuff. They were kind of spot on, but then again, it was Ultra Modern. I think Ultra Modern, generally speaking, is pretty easy to grade.
Right.
But I only sent them a handful of cards. GMA, I will tell you, I sent them a Lubob that should have been would be like a PSA 6, and it definitely got a 10. So take that for what you will.
The Mets picked up a shortstop at the second pick.
Well, Lindor's out of town.
Yeah, right.
In about 5 years when that guy's ready.
Yeah, this is a high school kid, too. 5'8", 175. I think he's all right for a little bit. 17-year-old won't take a spot yet.
No time soon.
No time soon. Yeah, because I sent some cards to be graded with PSA at the $18. I sent 9 Gary Carters that I had sitting here waiting to be graded for at a reasonable price. And one of them is that TCMA International League one.
That's great. I hope you're happy. You're creating the backlog. Stupid.
But that one is
stupid set collector, stupid player collector.
I got one.
Stupid set registry collector. Look what you did.
I got one Alonzo. That's my 10. 9 Gary Carters and 1 Alonzo. I sent you.
So you're sending
coming to you right now.
So you're sending in stuff that is what helped build the foundation of PSA becoming popular. That now the new breed of collectors, investors, flippers, sneakerheads now believe is what is causing the backlogs in PSA.
Right.
Has nothing to do with the fact that God knows how many Mac Jones from 2021 Prism that just came out 2 weeks ago are already in their warehouse. Probably, thousands, but.
Yeah. I mean, they're still great in Zion's and what's his face from Dallas basketball. So I can't wait to kind of see now that all these cards have been shooting out from PSA. Because shows I've been going to, not a lot of PSA cards. It's either been a lot of raw. So I'm interested to see what the National, like I've said, I've been saying this, I think the National is going to be a good barometer for what's coming down the road for the hobby, I think.
I think there'll be some deals to be had on ultra-modern PSA slabs, specifically 8s and 9s. You're going to see some of them in $5 boxes. So, I mean, it's a good chance to add. Like, there's still some of them are still cool cards that you can add to the collection.
I think any slab deals like what you're just described will probably be there. And for me, I this year, I'm not really going in locked on what I'm going to buy like I did last year. I have a few things floating around in my head, non-sport stuff. Nobody say the Mets are a non-sport. Better not. So I going in a little different this year. But first year I've been here on a Wednesday. I want to see what the commotion is. Last year, some of the dealers said Wednesday was their busiest day of the week for dollar amount being made. So I just want to see what's going on.
Well, last year, like Wednesday and Thursday were just like nuts. And I was surprised, like Friday and Saturday were slower than the Wednesday, Thursday.
It seemed like a lot of people left after Thursday last year. Saturday afternoon started slowing down rather quickly, and then Sunday was like old school.
I wonder this year. I think a lot of the travelers will be there, of course, Wednesday, Thursday. But I do think, based on its location, I think you'll have a lot of people. I expect a lot of day trips from New York and the New York surrounding area, Philadelphia. I would think there'll be a lot of people heading down on Saturday just because that's when they're available. But then who knows? Maybe everyone decides, get in a day early to avoid the traffic, and they run right into the traffic.
It just seems to me too, like even before I got to know everybody, well, not everybody, got to know a large group. When I was going before, it just seems like a lot of the travelers like to come on that Wednesday, Thursday, leave Friday sometime and get home and still have the weekend, with the family, and then the local crowd comes in on Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday.
I just always feel like at this point I try and maximize my time there. I'm never in a hurry to leave, and I'd like to get there as early as possible. Last year did something different Wednesday, but thankfully we flew in Wednesday, because if I would have flown in Thursday, like that would have taken up a day. And the fact that I can drive this year, like I'll very likely be there till the doors close. Well,
I'm gaining
Sunday.
Almost a full day, because usually I don't get there till Thursday between 1 and 2. So to the show itself, show floor. So I only have like 4.5 hours on Thursday to really enjoy the show. And I usually do that just so I can do the Thursday night hangout. But this year it worked out a lot better for me. And I just want to see what it's about on Wednesday. And all this
I
stuff.
think if you're
everybody
looking
buying up every
for
single day.
well, I think if you're looking for common stuff like whatever, there's no rush. But if you're
Right.
looking, and there's going to be people that are looking for common stuff because
Mhm.
that's what they can afford. You know, they're just looking to pick up some cool rookie cards. But like if you're looking for like I don't know, say you want some Alonso cards and you're looking for a super fractor or a red refractor, like something numbered to 1, 5, 10. Like if you see it that day, like you probably should pick it up because
Everybody here, if you
otherwise
see a
it's tough.
PSA, I mean a Alonzo Clear in 2019, Big Scott 35.
Because those are the types of things that go quick and then suddenly you don't see them. And I've definitely seen cards like that, and maybe not something I necessarily needed to buy right away, but you'd see it and be like, "Ooh, I got to keep that in mind," and then it disappears and it's gone.
This is Fernando. Yes, I arrive Tuesday and leave Friday night. And that's, you get a good part of the show. You get home, you get to spend your weekend with the family. I mean, it's not a bad thing. So I want to stay there and spend my weekend with my card family.
I just want to see what Sunday will be like. Especially if it's a slower day, you might get some good opportunities to either buy some wax or some value boxes or something. Because I know in Cleveland when I was there, I remember my plan originally was like, I'll go to the show for a few hours. I'm already here, whatever. I'll try and leave at like 11 because it was like a 7-hour drive. And next thing I know, I think the show ended at 4 o'clock. It's like 4:30. I'm like, shit, I got 7.5 hour ride back. It was kind of torturous, but I was able to grab some cool stuff like at really good prices. Granted, the hobby was a little different then a few years ago, but
yeah, one of these years I should probably just try to stick around through Sunday and just like leave Monday morning or something.
Well,
I think usually when we look those things up though, it's usually a lot cheaper. That's one of the problems you run into at the time. You're like booking things and it's substantially cheaper to leave like a Sunday morning or something, and then you do it. And then when you get up, when it's Saturday night, you're hanging out, having a good time. It's 1 a.m. You're like, shit, my flight's in 5 hours. That's when you're like, damn, I really wish I just ponied up and paid the money to fly back on Monday or took the day off or whatever.
Since I'm driving, I can leave Sunday at any time. And I'm interested to see Sunday because I don't know which way it's going to go. And I'm really eager to see it. I don't know if the cart, like old school, selling the stuff, even some wax might find some deals, or it's going to be wild again and you're not going to get anything because everybody made their money. So
there'll be some empty tables. Some guys will leave early even though they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
One year I ran out of money on Saturday, so I was just there all day. Time I was there all day Sunday, I had like $15 to buy cards with. So I just walked around all day.
Yeah, well, last year my flight was in the evening and I went for about half the day. I didn't see anything too crazy. I did pick up some stuff for my 60s that last year flagship before I left. I hope it's better this year on Sunday.
Last year I was able to run in for like an hour. I think I had an hour to run in on Sunday. I was able to buy a card I was looking for. So Ed got an extra hour of sleep. I ran over, bought that card, ran back, grabbed our stuff, and had a race to the airport.
Yeah, I talked to Ed as I was leaving. I ran into him down in the lobby. Because I was trying to get to the airport myself.
That was better than the trip before in Chicago where we left at like 5 a.m. and then our flight was delayed and delayed and delayed. I think I got home at like 7 p.m. or something. It was horrible. I was so mad. I was sitting at the hotel like everyone's like, yeah, I found this. So I got this at the show. Other people went to the show for 3 hours, then went and flew home. I'm like, what? You're home already? I'm still sitting in Chicago. What the hell?
Yeah, so you left about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours before I did out of the hotel, and then I slept. And then when I got to the hotel, the airport, you guys were still there waiting for your flight. I think I flew out before you guys did.
Yeah, it was so bad. I forget what that was. United? Something.
Hey, Don, it's just east of Westcott. Oh, geez. Truist Park? Which one? It's 8,000 different Truist Parks. Where do you live at, Battery? Where were you at?
Isn't that the Brave Stadium now?
I think, but like there's so many. I want to say that's the minor league park that's down the street from me. It's a Truist Park. They have banks everywhere down here. They own the South. I would think because that's Cobb County, I believe. Actually, it is. Yeah. You're a comedian. I try to be, Don. I try to be.
That's where the big boss man's from.
Cobb County? Yeah. Well, he was a Georgia State Penitentiary guy. Yeah, that's Cobb County. Yeah, now it all makes sense now. So, hey, the big boss man. So, anything else that we want to add? Because I'll be next week. Please, everybody, jump in. Sunday night, like I said, will be Bobbles, maybe a few other people. Hopefully, I'll have Nat's Band back talking. And let's see who I'm not 100% sure. I'm kind of putting it out just out there for everybody that's in the house, and if they want to join, they will. But for certain, I'll have Bobbles. So me and him can run our mouths all night long. And the countdown is real now, people. We're a week and 3 days to the start. And
got to make sure you get ready. It actually takes some preparation. It's a good idea to prepare for the national just a little bit.
Well, I'm packing.
Don't wait till like the
no socks, no deodorant,
leaving,
no toothpaste.
I'll give the best advice that I give everybody, or try to. Bring bubble mailers with you. So when you buy the cards and you put them in your backpack, you put them in bubble mailers, keep them safe.
You're the first one to say that, and that's a unique perspective. I have yet to do anything because there's already, I think, starting 7 weeks ago was the first getting ready for the national video I saw. So,
and if you break a lot of wax, bring some 500 count boxes too.
Yeah, that's.
It's easier to ship them or put them in your pack them up. So
yeah, yep. So tragically, there is a West Cobb to the west of East Cobb. Yeah, if there's an East, there's logically going to be a West. So that is going to be it tonight. A little bit longer than usual for me, but a little less than usual for me and anything that me and MikeO do together.
Yeah, we'll see when this ends. This might not end till 4 a.m.
Yeah,
non-public
afterwards. Yeah,
my wife goes, "Are we going to watch TV tonight, or am I just going to watch my shows?" I'm like, I don't know yet. This could be 1 hour. It could be 4. I have no idea.
We didn't start breaking out cards and showing them like by now, but I'm really eager. I'm excited to hang out with you guys again and with everybody else. Please, everybody have fun, stay safe. Let's all get there, have fun together, and let's just make the best it can be at Atlantic City and not worry so much about the bad stuff, and everybody just watch out for each other. And
listen, if Big Scott 35 is at the show, then it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great show. So, I mean, that alone, you're watching the channel. It's worth it just to go see Big Scott 35.
That's right. And I want people, please come up, say hi, give me a good man hug. Victor's best at it. Let's get have a good time. So until then, please like, share, visit these guys' channels. You all know who they are. I got, these are big boys here. These are some of the Hall of Famers of the Hall of Famers, old school guys around here. So you know who they are. But if you haven't seen them, go to their channels. I can't speak too highly of these people because of the heads get huge. So anyway.
Oh, dude, it just ripped up hard. Holy cow.
Until next time, like, share, tell a friend, and we'll see you.